guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Hot Toys 1/6 scale ED-209. See, we have an absolutely massive package for another absolutely massive figure. Part of their movie masterpiece series, number 204, the Enforcement Droid 209, is part of their new RoboCop line, I guess. This figure was originally released a few years ago, but there are some changes made to it. We're also getting another RoboCop that has die-cast here later this year. But as you can see, beautiful image. You come down here to the top, you got the ED-209 text right there. The side doesn't have anything except for ED-209. Come around to the back, and you have the cast and crew responsible for creating this, including the creative producers, product designer, and all that other fun stuff. Now, when you get this opened, it does come with a very large foam insert, and this is what protects your figure. As you can see, you do have a nice engraving of ED-209 there, and then it just slides out just like so. And here you have a whole bunch of little papers and stuff, because I don't want to ruin it for you, but that's where the figure sits. So you can really be assured that when you get the figure, putting all this stuff back in there, that it will be a well taken care of piece. It's not going to be bouncing around a lot. Even if the box is damaged, I really don't see this foam getting messed up. And I just love how they actually engraved the ED-209 there. They did that with the Hulk as well. I just think it's cool, but beyond that though, that's about it for the packaging. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the Enforcement Droid ED-209 opened up and out of its packaging. And once you get it out of the foam, there is some assembly that is required. The arms are not attached and the legs are also not attached. Now the arms just attach via this ball joint sort of thing, which is really easy to pop in and out. The legs though, I'm not 100% sure how you'll be able to pop those out, because they're kind of like that peg with the little arrow, not arrow, but like extended bit away from the main connector to kind of lock it into place. I'm not 100% sure how we'll be able to pull these legs out in order to put them back into storage if you choose to do that at some point in time. So I would exercise caution if you are going to do that. Now, starting off with his accessories first, what you have here is his extra arm, which is battle damaged. Zooming in, it's terrific amount of detail. You can see a lot of warning labels and things like that. You've got wires that are very flexible, really very nice. All these wires are a soft rubber, so you can kind of just have them dangling out there. You have some real great detail on the inside. A lot of soft rubber pieces in here. This is a bit of a softer rubber, but this is an exquisite piece. Now, for me, I'm not really going to use it because it looks better with his regular arm. But I love that they give you the option to recreate those extra scenes. Especially the one where he blows his arm completely off like this. The other thing, I guess you could say it's an accessory, is this little bit. This is his remote control to control his sounds. This does come with batteries already. This requires 3 AAA batteries that are not included. And since this is one of the main accessories, I might as well show that now. So coming around here to the back, you can just look how massive this thing is. Right underneath here, under this little bit, is the switch, and then the battery compartment is right underneath here as well. So turning this on, it doesn't light up or anything, but getting it going, you can hear a bit of a startup sound for him, which does sound like it's taken right from the movie. Then you have this little bit, flip this on, and then the button is actually, it's just the BO, Bo. This actually lights up. So when you cycle through it, you get a couple movie clips. So going ahead and hitting the button. That sound effect sounds very good, and it sounds pretty accurate. When you get to the voice clips, though, I've seen the RoboCop movie a million times. To me, this sounds like somebody else is doing the voice. But continuing to cycle through, Again, the sound effects sound good, but here we go.
Please put down your weapons. You have 20 seconds to comply.
That absolutely does not sound like the movie version. And it's really very unfortunate. When you're paying $400 for this, you would expect something to be done right. I don't expect perfection. But if you're gonna do it right. So continuing on with the rest of the sounds. And sometimes this doesn't even work very well. Damn, here we go.
You now have 15 seconds to comply.
See, it just doesn't sound right.
You are in direct violation of Penal Code 113, Section 9. You now have 5 seconds to comply. 4, 3, 2, 1. I am now authorized to use physical force.
So, it sounds like they got somebody completely different to do it. It sounds a lot more muted, and you could hear at the end when he's counting down when he goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's way too long of a pause. I've listened to the movie. I put it up on my iPhone. I've held it up to my ear. There is a normal pause in the actual film. This has a more extended pause. Even the NECA version of the ED-209 that's recently come out sounds better than this. So going back to that part, letting you hear that section again. Listen for the countdown. The pause between the 2 and the 1 is longer than it should be. That's one of the biggest giveaways, I think, that they're not actually using the voice clip from the actual movie.
You are in direct violation of Penal Code 113, Section 9. You now have 5 seconds to comply. 4, 3, 2, 1. I am now authorized to use physical force.
Now, as I said, to me, when you're paying this much money for a figure, it doesn't have to be perfect. But it should be right. Now, I appreciate the fact that they have the sounds in there. It's a nice touch. I do really like it. And the original one did not have that. A lot about this figure is dramatically different than that original release. The articulation is improved. The paint job is improved. Obviously, you got the voice clips. But it really leaves me a little disappointed, honestly. The other thing that you're probably noticing is that the mouth is not accurate. In the film, this entire side, this was a lot deeper. You could stick your finger in there. There was a lot of space in there. This is right there. So that's not accurate either. That's one of the problems that I do have. It does still have the rubber top section. In the movie, they kind of referred to this as like a radar reflection sort of thing. That's the original intent behind it. So one of the biggest problems that the original one had was this actually cracked and completely fell apart. We don't really know if this is going to do that or not. So again, you're paying a lot of money and I don't know what's going to happen to it. The other problem that I have is some of the warning labels, like I think it's this one. Yeah, this one here, it's not even spelled right. I mean, you can see it says dangerous substances. I mean, again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's inexcusable if you ask me. I guess if the prop in the movie had that, I guess I could excuse that. But to be totally honest, I have no idea if that actually is the case. So while that is very unfortunate, it also might be accurate. I have no way of knowing. Now, while it may come across that I'm complaining about this, and rightly so, there are some things that I do not particularly like. Overall, I am absolutely thrilled to have this. I mean, when you look at the original figure that came out, I think in 2006, and it was a $200 piece, you can see just how much better this is. The coloring, first of all, on the overall body is greatly improved. It doesn't have a bluish tint that the original one did. When you look at all the wires and the colors, it just pops so much nicer. There is improved articulation. The legs, which I'll cover here when I get to the bottom part of them, is actually articulated a lot better. But there is some great great detail on here. Now, there are some bits, again, that are not really all that accurate, but to the, I guess, naked eye, you aren't going to notice it that much. I mean, it's absolutely a gorgeous piece, and you are paying for all of the detail that goes in there, so it is to be expected. Now, coming in so that you can see a little bit more of the details, you can see the wires in here. That does look nice, but again, not accurate. Come around here, you got, I'm going to lower this and lift this section up. You have some very nice wires, a real gorgeous silver paint on here. Looks very clean, almost like it's a brand new creation in brand new metal. I mean, really very nice. Come up here, you do a max PUI. I don't know what any of that means, but you do have the bullet or the ammo section here. I mean, absolutely stunning pieces of detail throughout this entire figure. Just like I said, letting you see everything on here as close up as I possibly can get. I love the detail. Again, nice wires on here. Come around here to the other side. You have a lot more detail on this arm, as this is the one that has this missile launcher. But again, great detail on here. Very nice pliable wires so that it doesn't really hinder anything when you're flexing it around. You get some actual movement in those when you're positioning them. So again, gives a much more authentic and real feel. Now, coming to this arm, I do believe this has gotten a lot changed to it. This section right here actually folds forward. It's what happened in the movie. So you would expect that this would flex forward and back, just like so. That's also a separate piece that you do have to just slide in. I think it just pegs in. I'm not sure exactly how to get it out. I'm not going to try breaking it. I'm just going to leave it alone. Don't touch things. His missiles do also move forward. You can see that it flexes out just like so, and then keeping this forward because that's how they deployed, and moving that in the position where you can actually see what I'm doing. These move up all the way, and they do come out. They're a little bit hard to get out. You almost need a little thing here. You can see that the little red sections here. You almost need to just push them out with something. And you have very pointy missiles. Absolutely gorgeous. And then they go in, get those pushed all the way, and you want to make sure that they're pushed all the way in so that you can lower it back down. That rotates around, coming around here to the opposite side. You can see that the ammo holder here does flex forward and back. Coming to the other arm, that also does that on this arm as well. You have this one that moves forward and back. You got that one that also moves forward and back. So really incredible detail on this guy. And coming down to his legs, you can see a lot more very cool detail. Everything in here. You got these little bits right here. These are little pistons that move forward and back. You got the warning labels on here. Now, this is something that I think is actually different. These actually flex out just like they did in the film. I don't think the original version actually did that. Come around here to the back, you have all these details here on the back. These little bits right here are actually on springs, which you could see flex in the movie. So it's wonderful to see that they're actually on here this time around. These little bits right up here, they rotate around. Well, yeah. These rotate around, which is, again, accurate to how it was in the movie. And one thing that's actually neat is when you rotate them around, don't drop, don't fall down. When you rotate them, it actually does rotate this little bar thing on the inside here. So that's actually a really cool touch. So incredible amount of detail on here. I mean, even the actual feet have, when you get it angled, very heavy. You can see the wires that are up in there. It's kind of hard to see because of how dark it is, but you can see all those wires. That's something else that the original one did not have. These also are on springs to facilitate his walking. So when he would walk, these would flex down, that would flex up. You also have that on this side as well, just in case his feet were moving back and forth. Now, for his articulation, as I said, it is improved over what we got in the original one, but I'm not 100% certain what has been improved. So hopefully you guys that have seen the previous one will be able to determine what is better. Now, one thing that I do know is this one has the extendable legs, whereas the original one did not have that. That's one piece of the improved articulation that I do know of. So, starting off first, these little flaps move up and down, as you can see. He will rotate at, I guess, the waist. A lot of this is hard to do, but it rotates left and right up there, according to the instructions at about 120 degrees. Both arms will rotate 360 degrees on both sides, so you do have that going for you. In addition to that, it will rotate 360 degrees all the way around. As you can see, there is a bit of a ball joint here. It has a hinge right in here, so you can do that, but it also has the ball joint right down there. When you do move it though, you can see that the rubber sections do come out a little bit, but just straighten that back up and it creates that illusion again. So you do have that, and like I said, it does rotate 360 degrees all the way around. It does move, well, all the way around like that, and with the very flexible wires, you can get it going all the way back there if you wanted to. I don't know why you would want to, but you can do that if it's your personal preference. So getting this angled back down, as I showed you, these bits do move forward and back, up and down, just like so. That does that on both sides, but there's only one ammo section on the right arm. Coming down to his hips, these sections here will rotate forward and back, just like so. They move up and down like that. They are both on ball joints. On this section here and this section here, there's a full range of motion on both ends of that hip joint. Coming down here, right at this joint here, it does move forward and back right there. Very loud ratchet joints. But they say that this is about a 40-degree motion. So you do have that. These little flaps do move in and out on both sides. All four of them do that, so you can recreate the look of his legs extending, and just bringing those out just so they don't get caught in the way. You do have the legs that do extend. As I said, that is a new feature, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. I wish there was actually a button you could push to do it. As it is, it's just, you just push it down and it extends all the way. But it is really tough to get it to do it, and like I said, I wish there was a button. I haven't found one, and the instructions don't show it, where you could push it to actually make it extend in a little bit easier. It is very, very stiff. There we go. But you do have that new bit of articulation, which you can create a much more dynamic pose for the ED-209 with those. He does also rotate here at the lower part of the leg, below his knee, I guess you could call it. Not much, it's just like a 45-degree motion, but that's nicely appreciated. Come down here to the feet, and both feet, or both of the toes, well, coming around to the back one moves up and down. You got a little bit of pivot right there. These actually do pivot outward, not a heck of a lot to really create that full-on I'm falling down the stairs pose, but you can get it down like so. So there is some actual foot posability, and then you can see the wires that are inside there. So putting that, and then it actually has an ankle, not just the toe, but the ankles also. I'm going to try balancing him on one leg to do this. The ankle does move forward, back. It feels like that's on a bit of a ball joint as well. So you got that range of motion moving forward, back, moves in and out, side to side, and like I said, you got the toes that are nicely pulsable. Not a full range of motion, mind you, but it's acceptable if you ask me. Now, as I said, he does come with the battle damage arm that is really a very cool piece. It is kind of difficult to pull this out of the ball joint, so you do want to be careful, but putting that in there, and again, be careful with the wires. You want to try and grab it where the wires aren't, and then just twist that in, and now you can have him squealing because, oh, my arm! I have no idea why he decided to sound like Chewbacca, but there you go. And like I said, it is a little bit difficult to get out. Again, take it out the way that you put it in. Kind of hold up around here, pull out. It is very stiff, but you can get it. It's not too difficult. And then just take this, give that a nice little push in there. Straighten that out, bring that down. I actually like leaving those down. There we have that. Now, for a size comparison, here you have him next to the NECA one. And just getting this out here, I mean, you can see there is a big size difference, but the NECA one did accomplish some more accurate looks. For example, the indent here for his mouth is more accurate, and the audio just sounds better. I mean, I guess we could flip through that. It's a lot more quiet than this one. The speakers on this are really high, but and then maybe I'll just bring this a little bit closer so you can hear that, but so that's that sound. I mean, you can hear that it sounds a lot better. I'm just going to hold this right over here. So it turns off.
Please put down your weapons. You have 20 seconds to comply.
I mean, you can hear it. It's night and day, the difference.
You now have 15 seconds to comply.
It sounds deeper and more muddled, I guess. It's honestly like they recorded somebody else doing it, slowed it down, so it sounds like this. And I hate to sound like I don't know, being mean or something, but you almost do hear an accent in it. So continuing on with the various sounds, let's get this going. Here we go. Well, I actually think that's it for the sounds. I don't think there's any other ones that they share in common. Yeah, it doesn't have any more of the similar sounds, but I mean, again, like I said, this is a very expensive piece. At, I think it's a little over $400. You never want to say that you expect perfection, but if you're going to do something, I firmly believe that you should do it right. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely thrilled to have this figure. I'm a huge RoboCop fan, and was very happy that they decided to re-release this with a slew of improvements. One of which being the voice clips that it has. I think it's a great idea. But for me, my biggest concern is not necessarily the ED-209. It's going to be RoboCop. Is that going to sound like Alex Murphy? That's going to be the biggest thing, and what really does make me a little bit concerned. The other concern that I have would be the rubber material that's on here. The original, as I mentioned, over time cracked and just looked terrible. I do hope that they fix that with this. But that's one of those things that only time would tell, and I didn't want to miss out on getting this again because of that fear. This is a great addition to any Hot Toy collection. And the biggest question that I guess collectors are probably going to have is, are the improvements worth the double price that this one now goes for? For me, I really think that it is. All the improvements to the paint, the articulation, even the additional sounds really make this a very nice piece to have. And to me, warrant that increase of a price. Especially since the original one can go for anywhere between, I've seen $500 and $800 on aftermarkets such as eBay. This is a far superior figure to that initial release. And yeah, I can just take the batteries out and not even bother using the voices, but that is a feature on this that you are paying for, and you should be able to use it, I think. So all that being said, the bottom line is I still do recommend picking this guy up. As I said, if you are a Hot Toy collector, this is a very big piece and will look awesome. It won't fit in my detail shelf, so I have to put it on the top. And honestly, since I've gotten this coming into my room, there's been a couple times where I've stopped and stared in awe at this piece as it stands on top of my shelves. It's really a wonderful piece to have. So if you are interested, as I said, I know it is pretty expensive, go ahead and click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to Sideshow Collectibles where you can pick this guy up and add him to your collection today. And remember, with Sideshow, they offer you the luxury of their payment plan. So you can set up how much you want to pay each month at whatever time you want to pay it that month. And these figures are announced usually about a year or so in advance. So each month you can pay this down, and it's not one huge giant blow to your checkbook. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing, and you have the security of getting it through Sideshow, as I mentioned previously in other videos, who happen to be the official distributor of Hot Toys here in the United States. Everybody else gets their stuff from Sideshow. So why go anywhere else? Go to the source and feel secure in your purchase, especially when it's something as expensive as this. And this isn't even the most expensive piece that I have coming. And you guys will see what I'm talking about here shortly. But beyond that, that's about it, guys. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Keep in touch with me. Find our recent purchases as well as all upcoming video reviews all at facebook.com/teambotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/optibotimus. Also, don't forget to check out my new website at optibotimusreviews.com. And if you like this review, please rate, subscribe, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.